Hello friends, I'm Dr. Manoj Singh, Head of Department of Zoology at Kalinga University. Today we will be going to the second module of ecology, in which we will be understanding about the ecological succession. Now, what is ecological succession? First, we should understand the meaning of this term. Now, it is nothing, it is any gradual change which is occurring over the time due to which there is a change in the habitat characteristics. So that is called ecological succession. Now, this change can can result into the formation of new organisms that will change the characteristic of that particular habitat. So this is called ecological succession. Now this succession process is a very it's a gradual process which actually starts with nudation. Nudation, the word itself means is like any place which is lacking any sort of primary or any type of nutrients. So it's a completely nude area which is lacking any sort of organic matter. So that nudation is being invaded by some sort of organisms that bring in the biomass, or you can say the biological component, into that particular area, and then that invaded area or the invaded organisms will bring in more and more components of different biological parts, which will result into competition. Now this competition and coaction between organisms will cause some reactions, and in this reaction some organism may perish from that side, some organisms will flourish in that area, and that will lead to a stage which is called stabilization. So stabilization will have those organisms which are very rigid, which are very versatile in their nature, like they can tolerate high temperature fluctuation, they can withstand the deficit of water condition, they can also tolerate or withstand any natural climatic condition. So these are that will be the stabilization phase. So the basic process of ecological succession starts from nudation. Nudation is followed by invasion. Invasion is followed by competition and coaction by the organisms. That results into reaction, and that reaction will result into the final stage, which is called as stabilization, or the final climax stage. So this is a basic process of ecological succession. Now this succession can occur in two ways. The first type of succession is known as primary succession. So primary succession is that type of succession which is occurring on a completely barren area, or you can say it is taking place in that particular area which is lacking any life forms. Like for example, any volcanic eruption has occurred at some place, or some newly formed island has just erupted out of ocean. So those all places which was completely barren and no type of life forms were present, that from that place, if the succession starts, it is known as primary succession. And in that type of succession, mostly the pioneer species, which pioneer species, I'll discuss more about it in later part on today's class. So pioneer species, or the species which will be bringing in the organic component, will be lichens and mosses, and those will be actually causing the breakdown of inorganic component of that particular habitat. And another type of succession is secondary succession. Now the secondary succession occurs in that place where already some sort of organic remains are present, or you can say some organic matter was already present in that particular area, and that area is being reoccupied by organisms. So that the succession occurring in that place will be known as secondary succession. So here the pioneer species will be like grasses, or you can say weeds, which colonize very easily. There is another basic difference, like from pioneer succession and secondary succession, is that primary succession usually takes place a very long time. Like it can vary in terms like hundreds of years it can take to occur, while secondary succession can occur a little bit in a faster pace, like you can say within a time span of 50 to 70 years, that place will be reoccupied or the succession will occur. So this is the basic two types of succession which are there, which are present in natural system. Now, going into further into detail about the succession process, I'll just like to introduce one basic term which is called seral. Seral community is nothing; those are the intermediate stages which are found in the process of succession, like from one community to another community when this transformation is occurring, so that the individual stages are known as seral stages. This seral stage means if you, for example, at right now, if its grasses are present in this habitat, and these grasses will be replaced by later on by shrubs. So the grasses will be a seral community, while the shrubs will be the next seral community. So this is called seral community. Now you can say at the end of each these stages is actually seral community, which is forming that particular stage, or you can say particular phase. So each stage is acting as a seral community or seral stage. Now, if we take the first example of any primary succession, so in primary succession, the first basic thing, as I have told you, it will start from a very barren area, or you can say a place which was lacking any organic matter. For example, a volcanic eruption has occurred, and now the succession process has to take place. So after an volcanic eruption, the molten lava got it's cooled down and it gets solidified. Then that on that molten lava, or that on that rocks, we will have a small amount of lichens which will be like inhabiting the first biological stage, and then these lichens will then bring in more biomass by trapping more and more, by converting more and more rocks into soil, and that conversion will result into what, that the lichens will be replaced by mosses. The mosses which have higher amount of biomass, or you can say better green areas, or you can say they have a leaves like structure, thallus, which are known as thallus. So these will bring in more biomass, and then they will further they will increase the degradation process, or you can say the breakdown process of rocks into soil. And then these mosses will be replaced by small shrubs, or you can say grasses, which will again further on add on to the biological component, or you can say the biomass, and they will also keep on increasing the amount of soil. Now this will, what it will result into, the amount of inorganic component will slowly keep on decreasing into that particular ecosystem, and the amount of you can say the biotic components will be increasing in that particular area, and that will result into the increased amount of soil quantity, and this will facilitate the growth of bigger plants. So the grasses will be replaced by shrubs, the shrubs will be replaced by small trees, then these small trees will be replaced by large trees. Now these lichens and mosses will be acting as a pioneer community. Now the pioneer community is those community which actually establishes the biological component, or you can say the biotic system. So these are pioneer species. They have very low, you can say they have very short lifespan. They reproduce very enormously, and slowly they are replaced by the climax species. In between there is an intermediate stage, or you can say intermediate seral stages, which will be comprising of these shrubs, which we can consider, or you can say small trees, and these intermediate species will be replaced by the bigger trees like banyan tree, neem tree, these people tree. These are trees which are very rigid in their habitat, in with their adaptation. So these are called climax community, and these climax community have a very low rate of reproduction. They have a larger lifespan, and they can tolerate vast amount of atmospheric variation. They are tolerant about rainfall, they are also tolerant about the wind, they are tolerant about the temperature. So that is called the climax community. Now, pioneer community, as I've said earlier, these will be lichens and mosses which can survive on a very bare minimum amount of nutrients. And slowly these pioneer communities will be replaced by the climax community, and the climax community will be the final stage of that particular system, ecosystem. And that will have the maximum amount of diversity also. So in comparison to the stages, the pioneer stage will have lesser amount of diversity, while the climax community will have a higher amount of diversity, and that will be lasting for a longer period. So they will have bigger trees, they will have large biomass, they will have large amount of organic and inorganic components. On that note only, the succession is being classified further on the basis of the area. Like hydrocere is a succession which is occurring in an aquatic ecosystem. Xerocere is a succession which is occurring in a place where a very limited amount of water is available. And Xerage succession is like you can say that type of succession which is occurring at most very extremely dry condition, like in deserts any succession process is occurring. So these are few different type of succession. So to summarize with today's session, like we understood what is succession, what are primary and secondary succession, and how the succession process occurs, what are primary and climax community, and what are the different type of succession processes. So with this I conclude. Thank you.